Because you never know what life is gonna take you, and you can't change where you've been. But today, I have the opportunity to choose.
Hello, everybody. To my fellow classmates, my name is Amberlee Upshaw. I'm a sophomore at UTA. This fall, I'm starting the second semester of my sophomore year. I am 22. I'm a public relations major, um, speech communications minor, maybe major. We'll see. I am a mother and I live here in Dallas. And to my Facebook friends, hello. So I'm just gonna explain because some people know what I'm doing, some people don't. I decided that since I'm already having to do this and I'm going to upload these videos on YouTube, that I would do it on Facebook too, because that'd be pretty cool. And maybe I would inspire somebody else as I was inspired. Basically, this semester, I have the assignment of keeping a journal, and a part of my final is going to be a conclusion to this journal. I'm going to wrap everything up, and I came up with the idea to have a theme because that would make it easier on the end, of course, rather than just writing about my days and not being able to write it up. So this summer, I read a book in my American Literature summer school class called The Awakening by Kate Chopin, and it's basically about a woman through a series of events. She finds herself. She is able to distinguish. She's able to identify herself apart from the roles as a mother, a wife, a friend, a sister. Everything else that women have to be. And she that inspired me. So I kind of and I this summer I went on quite a journey. I I matured. I learned things about myself, and I just feel better. I'm more comfortable with who I am now. So, the name of my journal is going to be called Amberlee's Awakening, and with each journal entry, I have to do two a week. They're not going to be long though, because I know some of you know that I'm long-winded. They're each going to have a theme, and basically, it's going back up. The theme within this theme to each journal entry comes from the fact that about a week and a half ago, I was reading a book called The Very Hungry Butterfly to my kids at bedtime. And it's about a caterpillar who eats one fruit on Monday and two fruit on Tuesdays and three on Wednesday and so on and so forth. And at the end, he gets sleepy, so he gets all snuggled up um, in his cocoon. And then a couple of weeks later, however long later, he emerges this beautiful butterfly. And I got done reading that to my daughter. I kissed them goodnight. I turned off the light and she said, Mommy. And I'm like, oh, I didn't turn on her night light or her closet door light because that's her night light. And so I went to turn it on. She said, well, do people change like that? And I was like, yeah. You go from a baby like Ace was, which is my son, to a little girl like you are, and then you'll be a big girl like Mommy one day. She said, no, you just, no, she said, what did she say? No, you just changed too. And I was like, I guess I did. And for my 4-year-old to notice that I had changed was really, it touched me and it prompted me to start thinking about what occurred. I was living, but I've never really stopped to think what is going on. So each journal entry will be my metamorphosis into or from something. And I'm just going to do a short one today since I'm already doing it. And it's just going to be my metamorphosis into the mommy that I am now. So as I said before, and as some of you know, I had my daughter 4 days before my 18th birthday, 3 weeks before my high school graduation. I had my son when I was 19, and I am a single mother. I do have the best support system ever. I have my parents, my brothers and sisters. I have amazing friends. I have amazing support, and I my issue came into the fact that I was so protective of them. I could not stand when little kids would come to. I hated taking them to the park because little kids would be like, "Hey, Q, come play," and I'm like, "Oh, well, I gotta go play too." And Agnes was like, "No, I can go play," and I was like, "No, I have to play." Just because every day, you turn on the TV or you log on to Yahoo and you see something about just the evil stuff that goes on. So I immediately, I'm very protective of my children. You don't have to tell me that. I'm very protective with anybody. Um, I guess it kind of goes back to the fact that when I did decide that I was going to go through with the pregnancy with my daughter and I was going to have her, I decided at that point in time that it was my responsibility and my responsibility only. That being said, I did I thought that it was best for me to be a single parent simply because I did not want my child to be I just didn't want my child to be I don't want to sound rude or anything. I just knew that I could do a good job by myself and that any other help would probably pose a problem, and as it did. So I I once I had my son, I woke up on my 20th birthday and I was like, I can't do this back and forth anymore. I am going to do it by myself. Simply because I don't know how to say it without sounding mean. This is just how I feel. I feel like every mother feels like her child is number one. Her child or children, they're number one. And that's no different with me. I believe that a lot of issues with teen parents and running around trying to get somebody to do something that they know is right, but they are choosing not to do is foolish and a waste of my time. That's some time I could be spent that could be spent with my children. So we weren't even gonna. I never did that. What I decided was best was I was not going to allow my child. I wasn't going to allow someone or anybody who did not genuinely want to be in my child's life to be in my child's life. I was not going to allow my children to be pawns, which they were for a while, but then again, I was 17, you know, I was young. I was not going to allow, I wasn't going to give someone the option to not be involved when I can take that option away because I already saw what was going to happen. And, I just didn't do it. I felt like I didn't need a court order to tell me what I needed to do as a parent. So, if, and another thing was that if I just, I know some people in teen parent situations and just, I mean, grown parents have the whole custody battle where these kids are here on this day, and whatever, back and forth. And I remember speaking with a young man around the time that I had my daughter, and he was in we were actually in child support court together, and I was speaking to him, and he was just like, I know they're only going to give me weekends, and I was like, oh, isn't that standard? And he was like, well, do you only have weekends? And I that showed me something, that another standard to look up to. And I know that growing up, my dad would work all night and then come home and play with us. And at the time, I didn't know that he should have been as tired as he was, because he still does it now. He'll go on a run and be back, and he's not even through the door good before he's asking where Addison and Ace are. So I see the potential of the men around me, and I just didn't feel like I needed to. If a little time was okay, and then that little time wasn't even cherished, we are just not going to do this. So basically, I did opt to, be a single parent, and it's turned out for the best, to be completely honest. So, but as a single parent, I did take on the role of being the sole protector, and I guess just I have the weight on my shoulder of their lives. You know, I just was not comfortable with them going to daycare and then other people watching them other than my parents. Like, no. My parents or my ex-boyfriend named Colin. Boyfriend, that's another story. But I just, other than them and my sisters and my grandma, and no, nobody could do it. So, And I think that that transpired into my kids' lives because they weren't able to do a lot of things. And now, since I realized this summer, like I said, I went through this change and I took a break from my relationship so that I could refocus. And in that moment of isolation where it was just me, I feel like God was trying to tell me that you may be a single mom, but you're not doing it alone. And that He loves my children more than I do. And He is going to protect us, and He always has. And we, like my mom says, we stay prayed up. So bit by bit, I learned to let go a little bit and to let them live life, because what kid wants to have a massive backyard and you can't go back there because your mom thinks a snake or somebody's going to jump over the fence and grab you, or, all these crazy things that I would come up with. And in that moment of isolation, like I said, I learned a lot about myself, and I learned I, not having that person there, I was forced to look at what I did have. And I don't want to say it. And what I did have was a group of people who loved myself and who loved my kids just as much as I did. And they wanted to help me. I did not have to do everything. I did not have to carry the weight on my shoulders alone. They were here to take a little bit. So, with that being said, I was able to, you know, let go a little bit, and now I feel like my children are happier. And not only that, this is my last thing, so I'm gonna wrap it up because it's like over 10 minutes and I want to talk all day. The another thing that I think changed me as a mom was realizing how they live life, and me being their mother and giving birth to them gave me a second chance at life, because anybody who's a parent knows that children have the most beautiful and vivid imaginations ever. And so, how many of y'all wake up in the morning, push snooze 5 times, get up, get dressed, complain because it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, never mad about a Friday, and then you get to work, and then you complain about work, and then you leave work and go pick up your kids to go do whatever, and then it's like a hassle. Even if you're a single person, you gotta go get something to wear from the club, and you don't want to do this, and then she don't want to go, and then she is going, so you can't have fun, and you don't want to go here. Life just seems like a hassle. But I wake up and I have Ace, who brings me these trucks, and he makes these like deep voice rooms in my ear to wake me up, and it's a monster. And then I have Addison, who says that the clouds are cotton candy from Big Tex Fair. And then I have Ace, who will get on his little chubby knees and try to pick ants up. And I have Addison, who, when she hears crickets, they turn into this monstrous gang of crickets that are coming to attack her, and we have to run to the safe house, which is most of the time my bed. And you just view life in a different way. You appreciate the clouds and the crickets and the ants and cotton candy and simple things that you enjoy. And that's what life's about, because I know there are a lot of people whose wakes and funerals that I've been to who would die for a second chance at life, and I've been given two. So I learned to enjoy them. And last thing I'm going to say is that in this metamorphosis as a mother, I learned that although I gave birth to them, they gave me life. When I was in labor with my daughter on May 15th, as soon as they told me I was in labor, I was like, crap. I don't know anything about being a mom. I had to change a diaper. Well, I had cousins and stuff that I had, but I was like, this person is going to be mine. And I remember as soon as I had her, a little bit TMI, but as soon as I had her, everybody ran over to see the baby. And I could just say that I did it. I did it. And then my doctor, who was in a very awkward position at that point in time, he said, "You can do anything. You did this, and you can do anything." And that's, I can do anything because I'm a mom, I'm a college student, I am running my own business, and I am working part time as a waitress, which I love because I love meeting people and I love telling people this story and letting them know that you can really do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens all of us. So I gave birth to them, but they gave me life. And I encourage all of you to enjoy life. Just stop living it so fast. Stop rushing Friday to get here. Dang, enjoy Tuesday. So, um, until next time, I'll leave you with that. And I cannot wait to continue to do these and maybe hear about everybody else's stories. Um, I hope that you have a fantastic rest of the day or whatever time of the day you're watching this, and I look forward to speaking to you next time.
To be the best that I can be. I choose to be authentic in every